Hi everyone, welcome to Type Talks. Today we're here to offer a very quick way to put the cognitive functions. It's a little cheat sheet for you guys and a good introduction for people who are new. So with introverted sensing, it is the dominant function of the ISTJ and the ISFJ. And the quick phrase we have for it is detailed representation of reality in your mind. So introverted sensing, it is taking the concrete and then storing it in your mind in a subjective way. And so this creates a very detailed and personal way of storing reality. And typically, introverted sensing dominants like to find what is consistent about reality and also store that too. And that's why there's a stereotype with SI dominant types having routines or a consistent schedule because they want to store the consistent parts of reality too in their mind so that they can find stability and security, safety, and predictability in that. And so having that internal detailed model representation of reality helps them navigate through reality and make it more predictable, stable, secure, and consistent. They want to find the consistencies through reality so that they can review it, so they can recreate the best parts of their experience. So that's why they're known for the stereotype of traditions, because there is an element of finding the best part of their experiences and what's worked and then recreating it.
And then moving to the essence of NI, we can think of NI as essential knowing of future reality. And this is the dominant function of the INFJ and the INTJ. So NI is very much in tune with quickly taking a wide angle lens and then narrowing in to what is probably going to be the outcome. So really looking at consequence of action and considering that before the action is taken, and sort of an innate ability to predict what's going to happen if certain steps are taken, or if you take a certain action, or move in a certain direction. So it's that sort of gut sense of just having an understanding of how something will probably play out. So it's a bit about probabilities. What's the probable outcome? And then gaining a confidence in those guesses or predictions and using those to then guide decisions.
And so that brings us to extroverted sensing. So this is the dominant function of the ESTP and the ESFP. And a quick little phrase we have for this is reality as it is. So extroverted sensing is taking reality for exactly what it is. Because they're able to see reality objectively like this, they're able to see what is relevant in the situation. So that's why they're able to be in the moment, because they're really taking reality as it's objectively presented to them.
Yeah, it's really an in the moment read of reality as it is. SE is very good at being in the moment, engaged, and calling out reality for what it is. Depending on where SE is in the stack, it may or may not, the user may or may not verbally call it out, but it's something that when SE is in the stack, it's something that the user, at least the person with the function, has an awareness of. And that brings us to any extroverted intuition. And this is the dominant function for the ENTP and the ENFP. For this, you can think of this as an expansion of ideas to push the limits of possibility. So any loves to play with ideas, loves to brainstorm, loves to riff off of other people's ideas. And the more ideas, the more exciting for any. So exploring any possibility is never off the table. Doesn't matter whether the idea is possible in any sort of a reality-based way. Just the idea of exploring possibilities of any kind is what any is really interested in.
All right. And so those are all of the perceiving functions. And so that brings us to the judging functions. And so introverted feeling, a quick way to put it, is truth of the soul or refined values. So this is the dominant function of the INFP and the ISFP. Introverted feeling is very tuned in to what resonates and what doesn't resonate, and a possible good or bad read of something too. And so there's this looking for what is hitting that resonance within you and what is dissonant within you. It's almost like everything in the world creates a visceral reaction, and you get a resonance or a dissonance with it. And from that, that is material for you to make decisions based off of.
And that brings us to TI, or introverted thinking. And you can think of this in essence as truth of the mind. So refined principles. TI is the dominant function of the INTP and the ISTP. And TI is really looking to break things down, break information down to its most pure form, to the level where it can't be further refined. It's an internal value, a subjective value that is true beyond dispute, according to the individual.
And so that brings us to extroverted thinking, and TE is the dominant function of the ESTJ and ENTJ. And a short way to put this is the application of logic to reach measurable goals. With TE, you want to structure the things in your environment using logic. So you want to create order. And one of the ways you can do this is through creating measurable end goals. Not all TE dominants will be that ambitious, goal-oriented person that you see in the stereotypes, but there is this desire for structure, and there's a desire for systemization.
And finally, that brings us to FE, or extroverted feeling, which is the dominant function for ESFJ and ENFJ. And this function, broken down to its essence, it's really using finesse of shared feelings to reach mutually fulfilling relationships and find an emotional equilibrium. So FE really is looking to build relationships, to build connections, and to find the balance in interpersonal dynamics. FE is very interested in consensus. It's very interested in compromise. FE tends to want to find that happy middle ground where everyone can be included, everyone can be valued, everyone's opinion matters, everyone's feelings matter, and it's important to be inclusive when FE is the driver function. Finding the common ground to make sure that everyone feels good in the relationship and feels safe in the relationship is also an important part of FE.
And so you can also be a different type and relate to these things too, but you get to it in a different way. That's explained through different models. Like an ESFP and an ENFP might relate to qualities of extroverted feeling because they like to make people feel included too. But this can be linked back to Linda Barron's interaction style model, where there are different reasons for people to do different things. But yeah, I just wanted to include I wanted to include different frames of mind there too. So yeah, FE is very good at knowing who's going to be directly affected emotionally, either through their tone of voice or through the situation. And so they're very mindful of how you're going to impact people who are involved in the situation. So considering emotions that are going to be directly impacted, just knowing like who's going to be hurt or who's going to be okay from this. FE really knows how things are going to land with other people. It's very good at monitoring the social environment and acting accordingly to what the environment needs. So it's very reflexive and it's very good at monitoring needs and knowing how to meet them. And so thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick little summation of the cognitive functions. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.